So to get to the most important part of the video, me drinking Viet Duc. And if you think this is the first of the night, then you're as demented as Biden. Now we were continuing with starting from the position where you know nothing and have no energy, with your basic vampire service and the free soul rescue. And we were talking about pardon me, recollection, and this is a prerequisite to cutting your quantum entanglement with the chaotic edits that you've interacted with all your life. An edit being erasable, damned, imbecilic torture shell edits. Why are they erasable? Because when you change the timeline, they change. So for a magician, a shaman, a man of power, their awareness is in this Fibonacci series, which is beloved of the Illuminati, and starts with 1, because they're linking up with intent, the source. Intent, power, silence, Carlos Castaneda. Mandatory reading for you beginners. You've already read the Fire from Within, mandatory. Now you've got to read the Power of Silence, mandatory for you beginners. Doesn't cost you anything. You can go online and upload them. Not getting into the complex art of dreaming. Great books, but bit advanced for beginners. And everyone around you starts with 0. They've given their intent, hyper-infinity souls away, British maritime law, in the common consensus, or the people who've been at work, or in the shops, or in the pubs, or your family, or your husband, wife, children. The 1 stands for being able to collapse quantum wave function. 0 can't. Even collapse quantum wave functions, magic works for you. If you can't, magic doesn't exist. You're in the real world of normal people. Now, how do we guarantee, for those of us who wish to take the journey into tales of power, that we are always in a magical world like yours truly, and that everything we say we're going to do happens? Well, it's a path, the road to Ixtalan, using Castaneda book terminology. Now, as a scientist, there must be a methodical, reliable, reproducible mechanism to get any human, I don't care about aliens, any human to achieve the source within them. If not, these are simply just the ravings of a guru, and you might as well join the Rosicrucians or the Illuminati or the Freemasons or any other spiritual, metaphysical group that's around the planet. You find hordes of them online. Or you can simply go to church and trust in your paedophile priesthood to give you heaven in the promised land and hell in the real world, which a lot of you are experiencing in a world where Chinese virus has decimated the economy. And unless you're one of the Rothschilds' minions that's been given billions by quantitative easing to do fuck all, like Branson or Zuckerberg or Bezos or Elon Musk or the rest of the hordes of Zionite billionaires, the normal people with businesses bankrupt, going bankrupt, or soon to go bankrupt. And you millennials who've just left university will be finding the job market nigh on impossible unless you're from the right families. Then, of course, a job will be for you after your mandatory internship. So as you can see, meritocracy out the window. But nevertheless, in the forthcoming dystopian future for Zion, it is a bounty for those of you like myself who wish to be magicians, because the general population, which was so cohesive in its observation of the zero real world and the absolute rectitude of working all their lives at a shit job to get a mortgage, to grow old, to then lose their home to pay for their old people's homes, running the Ponzi scheme of Zion. All of them are now in torment and uncertain about the possibility they'll ever return to the old order. Now, if you read The Power of Silence, you'll see that the shamanic men of power describe the population as black magicians who broadcast the world of total evil in which the shamans find themselves. Now, when you input that the human race is parasitized by dark energy matter parasites called the mud shadows that bury themselves in the biophysical body, in the brain region and nervous system, and control the intents and the observation and the internal dialogue of humans, you see the situation is far worse than any dystopian film you will ever have come across. But for magicians like myself, it's wonderful, because once you take over the parasites, the so-called mud shadows that control humans, the humans then are simply controlled by mud shadows. Think of them as synonymous to face huggers, but buried in the energy body from the alien films. These things then control the humans around you, not to attack you, because the Baphomet chaos entity has been trapped in Bloom's baby and made one of the victims. Paradox. How can the controller of the parasites be one of the victims? Paradox. And the parasites are in fact now totally controlled by yours truly to make the general population do my bidding. So this is a bounteous time for those of you starting on the road to the source, because the common consensus which broadcasts via this psychic damping field. Starts with the 0 Fibonacci term, which suppresses magic, and the Russians have, during the Cold War, proved you can suppress magic. A guy called Sublime, which you'll hear about in my ultra brutal MP3s, which are for customers, found, he did experiments with dowsers. Colin Bloy couldn't douse, and then a dowser laid hands on him and downloaded dowsing ability into it. Sochivanov found that was possible. Similarly, you could link loads of dowsers together, and the dowsing ability was only raised to the highest among them. So, if there were a coven of dowsers, 13, they wouldn't multiply their power by 13 by holding hands and trying to douse as a group. No, it was only raised to the most powerful dowser among them. And thirdly, cynics who didn't believe in dowsing and would never believe in dowsing, no matter what the proof, could take away the power of dowsing from people who could douse. So when joined up with a cynic who was by their side, constantly glaring at them and giving them disrespect, joining the energy field of the cynic to the dowser, the person couldn't douse them. Hence, when you're surrounded by nearly 8 billion people who believe in the absolute certainty of the material world and the absolute certainty that magic doesn't exist, they make it so, using the psychic damping field. Sochivanov proved that. If you wish to go back to source material, read Sheila Ostrander and Schroeder's books, Psychic Warfare Behind the Iron Curtain, Super Learning, etc. Excellent books. You'll find it in there. Look up Sochivanov in the index and get the latest version, which has the most information. So, the Chinese virus and the economic collapse has severely damaged the psychic damping field that keeps people from evolving. So this is a golden age for people like ourselves who wish to be magicians. Now, how do we start? First of all, recollection. Secondly, we were talking about moving the assemblage point. A energy ball about 2 feet from the right shoulder blade on the energy body of humans. I can explain its physical nature, but we're just starting from the simple stuff. Now, shamans believed you had to move this assemblage point to evolve. Moving it upwards increases your sentience. Moving it inwards causes unmanifestation and entry into the realms of dark energy matter, of which there are 7 different underlying multiverses. Beneath this multiverse of light energy matter, which your observation resides within, and collecting massive amounts of dark energy matter enables you then to do supernormal feats. This was the whole shamanic technology of dreaming. Similarly, there was another technology to evolve which was called shamanic stalking. That doesn't mean you go around stalking A-listers, even though I do. TimRifat.com is specifically there to stalk white privileged A-list fucktards and of course LGBTQ haters. So one can see that TimRifat.com is shamanic stalking for me, stalking nasty A-listers, white privileged and LGBTQ haters. Stalking moves the assemblage point very slowly. When you fall asleep, your assemblage point moves massively. But most of the time you don't remember the movement and you can't duplicate it. While with stalking, you move it a tiny amount. How? By changing the way you act in the world. With stalking, all your real world actions come from one. Everything you do in life is magical. Everything you interact with is magical. It's all a magic ritual. 24/7, your whole day is a magical ritual. And the shamanic stalkers found that if you've got people out to kill you, like for example the entire Zionite states out to kill yours truly, then your illusory petty tyrants force you into acting 24/7 to honour the threat. Therefore it's live or die. If you fail, end up in zero, in a coffin, or cremated, or in some secret grave in one of Zion's secret torture rendition camps in Poland, Czechoslovakia. Guantanamo is only the public one. Here, the one, you live. So you overcome all of the chaotic humans that want to kill you. Now, during conquistador times, the shamans of Central South America were slaughtered in their droves by the vicious, sadistic Spanish and Portuguese invaders. But it was a bounty for magicians because of then, of course, they could stalk with people who could kill them on a whim. I am lucky to have lived in the UK where the British government kills people with a whim. Microwave flesh-eating bacteria, jailing them and then killing them in prison. Endless. As I say, Britain is on par with some of the worst countries in the world for killing dissident, subversives, enemies of the state. And when it comes to the UK, top of the tree for enemies of the state, yours truly. Happy, happy. It isn't as if the British have prospered by trying to fuck me over. Look at what's happened to Britain. It's devastated. They smashed my flat, I smashed their country. I see that as a fair exchange. So, please British, come and smash my flat again so I can totally wipe out your country with Kumraviaka tidal wave. You know it makes sense. Now to continue. We were talking about the super soldier service, where we move the assemblage point up the top and into the brain. This is the optimal state to interact with humans. In shamanism, the Nagwal came along, whacked the assemblage point into the energy body to make a cleft or a crack, either an impression or an actual. Like if you get tin can, bang, you get a dent in it. Dent or fold. Which meant that the assemblage point could never ever return to its original position, a fucktard ship, which is the common consensus, ruled by these alien parasites, the mud shadows. So with the super soldier service, I rip your assemblage point from your shoulder, take it up, bug it in the brain, killing the parasite in your brain in the process, freeing you from the parasite, returning you to your normal awareness, which is that of a baby. But. Now, for those of you who can't afford that process, you have to do it yourself. Now, when you've only got the neutral vampire service, which takes chaos from everyone around you and feeds off the parasite in your biophysical body, head region and nervous system, the so-called channels of Kundalini, how can one start the process? I haven't got $10,000 for super soldier service, so what do I do? Because lots of people haven't got $10,000. What you do, of course, is to, first of all, move your observation into your assemblage point. How do we do that? Well, read the Power of Silence, free, and the door to opening it is called total ruthlessness, the place of no pity. What does this mean? It means you always honour the threat. If some fucktard at work upsets you, you always honour the threat. If your partner, husband, wife, threatens you, you always honour it. A bit like Amber Heard with Johnny Depp. And by doing this, you do it with absolute precision and no pity. So the British government wanted to kill me when I came back to the UK to promote their Katy Perry Bloom ritual, and Bloom's daughter was going to marry Gormless George, and the Illuminati, Rothschilds could remain in control of Illuminism, promoting their one world government. Unfortunately for them, I always honour the threat. So as you can see, the West is being dismantled as we speak. The Democrats are dedicated to destroying white privilege. And their puppet, Biden, will be getting another aneurysm and be out of the way. So we have Kamala Harris as president after Biden's stroke, which turns him from being a demented cabbage into a comatose cabbage. Similarly, the European Union's falling apart. Poland, rabidly against the LGBTQ community. EU, rabidly supporting it. EU giving 750 billion euros to southern countries which are corrupt, spend it like water, give it to corrupt people like Juan Carlos of Spain, or the mafia in Italy, or the Portuguese mafia. So as you can see, the European Union is doomed to failure. I guarantee you that, because I hate the European Union. After taking my money from Bank of Cyprus, I've dedicated my life to the destruction of the European Union. So that's a done deal. If you don't believe it, just watch the news over the next 10 years. Now, moving the assemblage point for you starters means that you become ruthless and heartless. Then you understand my nature. So in your visualizations, during the day, while you're awake, not meditating, at work, or interacting with your family or friends or out, you are always visualizing, moving the assemblage point upwards, up, up, sucking all the chaos energy out of everyone you interact with. When you see your boss, suck him dry. Oh, move your assemblage point to the top. When you have some fucktard employee, friend, pissing you off, suck them dry. Move up to the top. When you have your children driving you mad, suck them dry. Move up to the top. What you're taking out of them with a neutral vampire service is chaos. So you're doing them a favour. That's why the neutral vampire service to me is an anathema. It's actually doing people good. So I always want the full-blooded vampire service, where I give them cancer, kill them, make them ill, make them old. Look at Katy Perry now compared to a few years ago. Old, fat hag. Same with Bloom. Pretty, now he's a rat-faced piece of vermin, fucked up. And I haven't even started on Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn. So one can see the neutral vampire service is all about moving the assemblage point to the top, then into the brain, the super soldier service, which is the prerequisite. Think of it as the starting gate for the race to the source. Can't get there unless it's up there. And in doing so, what you're doing is taking chaos out of the world. Collapsing the Federal Reserve, Bank of England, fiat money, Branson's Virgin, all the cornerstones of Zion, getting in the housing ladder, job for life, all the other crap you've been paying for nursing homes when the poor don't, and the people with money have to, all that crap. Taking shit because you're not from the silver spoon eating whites or a Jew. So of course you're garbage that has to be treated like garbage. No, I'm a Turkish Cypriot, mother was German. I'm going to fuck you white privileged cunts and destroy you. That's my mission. And it's happening. I'm getting the ravening mobs to come to your mansions and kill you. It's going to happen. Don't believe it? Wait and see the news. So it's a gradual procession of moving the assemblage point up to the starting gate, the super soldier, which super soldiers have paid for. And once you've actually moved it to that position, it's permanently locked in the one position. You're permanently aligned with intent, and the metatronic penultimate grail state, which is the only energetic configuration for humans, which enables them to reach the source. There must be a technology to reach the source. Yes, there is. You need the penultimate grail state. If you don't know what the penultimate grail state is, then simply buy the grail stones. If you can't afford them, then simply email someone who has them and beg them to send the grail patterns to you, because they're no longer free or available. You have to spend $1,000 now for the grail stones to get the grail patterns. So one can see that rather than achieving the source being a forlorn hope or something you've got to believe in or pray for, no, it's a technology. And the shamans of Central South America developed the technology to do this, dreaming or shamanic stalking. I, of course, can do both. The art of dreaming is fraught because you're in the world of the inorganic beings, dark energy matter beings, strange energy matter beings, and you're a fish out of water. While shamanic stalking, turning your normal world into one magical ritual 24/7, is the key that always works. And you don't even have to have people out to kill you 24/7 like I had in the UK. Because you're buying a vampire service, you're actually acquiring my ability, like Sochivanov. Dowser could give dowsing ability to another dowser, as Colin could douse. So Dowser gave his dowsing ability to Colin. Here, I'm giving my ability to achieve the source within you to you via the service, $600. If you want it for free, fuck off, because that's disrespect. There has to be some payment. Otherwise, I'm doing a benevolent act and there's a black magician. That never happens. So one can see the actual certificate, the neutral vampire certificate, is the key to moving your assemblage point to the super soldier position, because it contains the power that can be acquired from me to you, as proven by Sochivanov and USSR psychic warfare research. So next video, we're going to the next baby step for you to acquire the source within you.